Hey guys, Rob here. For Dragon Ball Z fans, the time in between Z and Super felt like an eternity. For many Gen Z and younger millennial fans who grew up on the franchise, a lot of us weren't old enough or even alive to experience watching Dragon Ball Z on TV. I don't know how it was for the Americans, but for British fans like myself, apart from brief sporadic reruns here and there aired on the Cartoon Network, it was actually really hard to find and watch Dragon Ball Z. For myself, this just let my imagination run wild. It wasn't until I played through Dragon Ball Z video games such as Budokai Tenkaichi 3 that I was able to see Dragon Ball Z's story in full and understand the plot. It's for this reason that games like BT3 hold a special place in my heart and in my childhood. Something else regarding the Dragon Ball franchise that holds a special place in my heart is the canon event that a lot of us went through as children, where we would Google image search phrases like Super Saiyan 5, 6 and even 10. And we would come across a series of interesting images like this one. This was an image of Super Saiyan 5 Goku that was published in a Spanish magazine in May 1999. I'd find this years later as a kid. Turns out I was a victim to a dastardly hoax. The hoax of Dragon Ball AF. Dragon Ball AF was a myth perpetuated by fans who were desperate during that time for a continuation of the franchise that took place after Z. The show, Dragon Ball AF, nor the manga, didn't even exist except from in the minds of the fans who had created it. By the way, if you haven't already, remember to subscribe. Thank you. The animations were rehashes and poor photoshops of original Dragon Ball Z and GT content. However, somehow in 2025, we've ended up with new characters, stories, and even developments of old characters that never took place in the actual franchise, such as a revived and now Super Saiyan 5 Raditz. This all leads us to what I have found for this video today, a fake game, a ROM hack of Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3 that is based on Dragon Ball AF, created by a guy who calls himself Yamcha Sama. Upon opening the game, you see the usual developers that you would see before BT3, followed by this message, which I had to Google Translate. I could already sort of tell what it was going to tell me before I did. This is a non-profit for entertainment purposes. Support the official release. It also has this cute little animation and tells me that it's made by Topo Polo Games, of which there is zero information online. Also included in the list of devs is this creepy animation that says Chuchaman Projects. Looking them up took me to a Facebook page, and it seems like the only thing they've ever worked on is this. We're then treated to an introduction to the game that has the same song playing as you would usually hear in the opening sequence of BT3. However, this time it's accompanied by footage directly from the anime and says that we're playing Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 3 version Latino. The opening animated sequence offers a brief summary of literally everything to happen between Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball GT. We then see Yamcha Sama has also worked on this game, and it finally says Dragon Ball AF Budokai Tenkaichi. The main menu has the same options as it does in the original game, but instead of its usual happy feel, we have this dark, demon-looking Goku on the side of the screen as we scroll. I decided to instantly take a look at the character referencer to see what we were dealing with, and found an again different looking menu. In the original game, you would usually have Chi-Chi there, telling you how everyone is a delinquent. However, in this one, not only is Chi-Chi not there, instead we see some edgy artwork, but also, if you click any of the characters expecting a description, it doesn't let you hear one. Scrolling through, I found Goku in Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3 and Perfecto, presumably meaning a perfect Super Saiyan form inspired by Cell's perfect form. But according to a quick Google search, in Dragon Ball AF, this is a form known as the original Super Saiyan form. I'm not going to get bogged down in explaining every little transformation or character here, so we keep scrolling. There's also the Omni God transformation included for a lot of these characters, which is apparently from yet another fanfiction. And there's also a kid here called Matt, who apparently is a part of the Dragon Ball AF lore. There is also many other AF variations on characters from the original series. It also lists characters here from Dragon Ball Absalon, which was another fanfiction series that I had honestly forgotten about, but was actually huge when it first released. This includes Gotenks in a Super Saiyan 4 form, and we finally get our first glimpse of the Super Saiyan 5, with Raditz of all people, which is cool. I think of all the characters done dirty, Raditz being Goku's brother is at the top of my list. We also find Kakarot, which I presume is Goku from an alternate timeline where he either didn't lose his memory or stayed with the Saiyans. Also, whoever this Rigor character is, and it says here that he's in Super Saiyan 5, He has golden hair and resembles a mix between Super Saiyan 4's body and Super Saiyan 3's hair. Broly has a legendary Great Ape form and even goes up to Super Saiyan 4 and
oh my god, he's so goddamn cool!
I instantly dropped what I was doing and went to play as Super Saiyan 5 Broly based purely on the fact that I think he's awesome. He also has an Omni God form, but I'm far less interested in that. Let's see what a Super Saiyan 5 can do. While scrolling through the other characters, I found Super Saiyan 7 Goku, which kinda looks badass in itself, so I figured that it would be something of an equal fight. I was actually looking for Super Saiyan 5 Goku, and I couldn't find him. I absolutely destroyed Super Saiyan 7 Goku in this match. It wasn't even funny. Super Saiyan 5 Broly is a destructive force of nature, and the health bars are massively enhanced to reflect this power jump. I ended up in a cool beam clash where I used Broly's ultimate Gigantico Mega attack on Goku, and Goku fired a Super Kamehameha Negativo at me, which I presume means something like Super Negative Kamehameha. It's really hard to know, it's all in Spanish and it's all based on fan fiction. Whilst playing this game, I got the impression that any character I played as could absolutely destroy any character from the original Budokai Tenkaichi 3 game, and I think that's the point of Dragon Ball Z fanfiction, to have ridiculously powerful forms and characters that look cool and make big boom booms. After destroying Goku, I decided to take a look at the story mode, to see how it looks given the new characters, and I was initially sort of disappointed. This is the exact same story mode that is in the original BT3. Not only that, but this version of the game seems to have already completed most of the story missions. Ho hum, I thought, might as well just try and defeat Raditz, just to see. And when I loaded the first mission up of the Saiyan Saga, yes, I was fighting Raditz, but Raditz? You look a lot different. And this isn't the usual Green Plains map that I'm used to fighting Raditz in. I was given the prompt to substitute Piccolo in, and good god, who is that? This is apparently a character called Raikon in his Super Saiyan 5 form, which is somewhat confusing because I thought we agreed that Super Saiyan 5 had silver hair, but I'm thankful for his inclusion because he absolutely destroys Raditz. After defeating Raditz, I decided to look at the great battle between Goku and Vegeta. This battle takes place in the same location, but seems to have a jacked up Super Saiyan God version of Goku fighting against Goku Black, and instead of transforming into a great ape like Vegeta would, Goku Black transforms into a Super Saiyan Rose. I also decided to have a crack at the tournament mode as legendary Super Saiyan Goku, and I made it decently far. I mean, I didn't win, but I tried, and that's what counts. An interesting aspect of this game is that it really ties into the fandom era that it's based on. It uses rock music, specifically the songs that you would expect to hear in a Dragon Ball AMV on YouTube in the late 2000s. You can hear songs from bands like Linkin Park, 3 Days Grace, and System of a Down, alongside your usual BT3 soundtrack. There was also some times that I replayed some of the missions that it said were completed, and then I unlocked other levels. So I think there's something a little wrong with the story mode. Perhaps you have to complete some missions multiple times to unlock everything. The roster of characters on this game is extraordinary, including wild fanfiction characters and transformations such as Omnigod Goku or Vegidog or... What is this? What the heck is this? That's hilarious, he looks so angry. The game also includes characters from Dragon Ball Super, such as Goku in his Super Saiyan God and Blue forms. This game offers a look at what the franchise felt like to fans after GT had finished. In many ways, GT had shifted the tone to this apocalyptic and more dark view of the Dragon Ball universe. It wasn't until Super that we returned to a more colourful and light-hearted Dragon Ball style that we all know and love. I think that might be part of the reason GT wasn't as loved at the time. It was hard to watch without feeling the negativity that it emanated, that sort of edgy, dark vibe that would inspire a lot of the fan fiction that is present in this game. I would have a lot more to say about this game if the story mode wasn't the same dialogue and circumstances with just swapped out character models. It definitely should be seen as a novelty fan mod for a very specific audience rather than a complete game in its own right. I also realised that if you play the story mode, all the dialogue is exactly the same as it would be in the original game. This means that whilst you may be in a battle between a Super Saiyan God jacked up Goku and Goku Black, it will still have the same original dialogue, you'll still hear Vegeta talking. But what do I think of this game? As a novelty little fan mod, for somebody who grew up in the 2000s and remembers a lot of this fanfiction, it's just a little bit of fun. Sure, it lacks the polish and the finish of a real game, but I don't think anyone who is going to play this is going to care about that. I think this is going to be played by people who just want to bash people around as Super Saiyan 5 Broly and have insanely big apocalyptic scale battles. The inclusion of Absalon and AF, as well as GT and Super, makes the game a mesh between the newer era of the franchise that didn't exist in the original BT3, and the fans' imagination being allowed to run wild. I definitely had fun playing the game, and the extended health bars allows for very big battles. I also think the story mode can be fun, if you just see it as a bit of a challenge, as opposed to an actual narrative that you need to follow. It's more about testing your skills in apocalyptic battles on a high level of difficulty. Have I said the word apocalyptic enough yet? The entire game is like something out of a fevered dream, to be honest. It's a complete and utter trip that makes you feel like you've entered into a bizarro alternative universe where up is down and left is up. But it is fun, and that's ultimately what matters. Thank you to Yamcha Sama, Top Apollo and Chuchoman Games. I hope I'm pronouncing the last two right. And I hope they also don't have any hidden meanings that I'm not aware of in those names. Thank you guys for making this an interesting little tribute to the starved Dragon Ball fandom during the 2000s. And that's all from me, guys. This was actually my first YouTube video, so if you enjoyed it and you want to see more, let me know in the comments below. Are there any other strange games from the Dragon Ball Z universe or fan universe that I should take a look at? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.